classic thumbnail today. Orange and Blue Today, presented by Sean Honda. We'll begin the countdown now. We got to get back to that sweet thumbnail, though, Mace, because everyone wants to know about this video. Another viral video from Andrew Mason.
Okay, it wasn't like original, right? I was one of a bunch of people there. I just happened to get it out first.
Sometimes that's what it is, right?
There was something stray on the desk there.
But you got it out there.
We do during the countdown. We play
the countdown.
We play a little Charlie mess around up here, right?
Like the Chiefs last week.
Yeah,
Charlie mess around.
Still won.
Right.
I mean, I use a little more vulgar term with the profanity.
Yes.
Typically when we're not doing a family type of show.
Right.
But hey, here we are. And yes, what's the deal with Jerry? I feel like we're doing this Jerry Seinfeld. Like, hey, what's the deal with pants?
Right.
Anyway.
I don't know.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am great as well. It's a Friday edition of Orange and Blue Today, presented by Sean Honda.
Not a mess around Friday, though. There's a lot to get to.
No. We've got so much. We've got so many video clips. Matthew's sweating over there. Like, we got a lot to get to.
Matthew's going to do all right.
He'll be all right.
Yeah.
He'll be okay.
I trust
we'll get through today. But I got to tell you, man, the Jeudy thing, the frustration coming from Jerry Jeudy, the frustration from Broncos fans. Let's start with Jerry Jeudy being frustrated, and I loved your follow-up question. So let's get to it. In case you missed it, here's Jerry Jeudy on his frustration.
It's always frustrating losing. Nobody want to lose. You feel me? Losing is the worst possible thing that could happen. So that's very frustrating. And I mean, as a receiver, it's a lot of people you got to depend on. So you could be open, but if the line don't do their thing, the quarterback didn't do the job, the OC don't push you in. It's a whole lot of stuff that we got to go through as a receiver to be successful. So I can't really just, at the end of the day, I got to do what I do at the end of the day. People could say, oh, look at the stats, look at this, look at that, but at the end of the eye in the sky don't lie. So that's what it is.
What did the eye in the sky show of the last game for you?
I think that's what y'all need to go do. Go watch the film instead of looking at the stats. Go watch the film and see what it do.
I loved your follow-up because it was to the point. It was polite. And then his answer, it's like he can't help himself, Mace.
I know. I was hoping he would, say something specific. But I thought that answer was more revealing. I mean, go watch the tape. I mean, there's a lot to unpack that can be implied there, and it can be dangerous to imply, but I think based on what he said in that first response and then that, it was probably pretty obvious what he was trying to say. And look, I get that he's frustrated, and he did. That's why we ran the whole clip, and there are some out there saying, oh, you clipped up. No. I ran the whole answer start to finish.
That was his answer.
Okay, right? So you hear him talk about the frustration. I think it's important to have that context that this is somebody who had not really failed in his football life before he came to Denver, but now the last 3+ years has been a lot of losing, right? So it takes a toll. Everybody handles that in a different way. The thing is, though, like, I think he could have saved himself by simply saying a couple of words, like when he's going through all that, including myself, or, part of it's on me.
Right.
He didn't do that. It's certainly a lesson learned for him, but it's just another headache regarding a player who seems to be causing his fair share of them right now for the Broncos, unfortunately.
Right, unfortunately. And Mace, it's like he can't help himself because the first part of that answer was pretty good. I'm frustrated and everything. And I'm like, wow, Jerry's getting it. He's kind of taking the high road. And then he's like, but if the quarterback doesn't, and I was like, whoa, Jerry, stop. At least add in yourself. You know what I mean? Like, hey, quarterback can be off, O-line can be off. I cannot be open when the timing is good. Like, add some self-reflection in that answer. And then we're all like, man, I'm frustrated just like Jerry Jeudy. Instead, people are like, get him out of here.
All right. And we talked about watching the film. Obviously, one of the people here at our digital empire over on the radio side is Mark Schlereth, longtime Bronco offensive lineman, also a game analyst for Fox Television. And, he's talked about what he's seen watching the film of Jerry Jeudy, particularly in the blocking end of it. So, I imagine when Stink has a chance to respond to that next time he's on air, I wonder what his take's going to be. He's going to say, okay, I watched the film and I saw X, Y, and Z. And that's what tells the tale, right?
Yeah. It tells the tale for Jerry Jeudy, who now, what does Alberto Cuebunom's game against the Rams have in common with Jerry Jeudy's upcoming game against the Green Bay Packers, Mace?
Oh my gosh, you really went there?
I did go there. I think they're going to feature Jerry Jeudy. They're going to showcase Jerry Jeudy this week. That's just a guess, not revealing anything. But how logical would that be in your eyes to maybe a little rehab, like a little Jerry Jeudy recovery for his trade value?
It's probably necessary, even though it's obvious, right? If Jeudy has his first 100-yard game of the season.
First touchdown of the year, maybe?
Yeah. A lot of firsts. Yeah, look, it hasn't been a good look. Objectively, not subjectively, objectively, it has not been a good season for Jerry Jeudy. And yeah, the stats, they can deceive. And there are times he's getting open. Look, I put out there on social media yesterday, that 4th and 3, that first series, that 4th and 3 could have changed the entire tone of that game in Kansas City.
Yep.
If you do a butterfly effect from converting that 4th and 3, you might be talking about the end of the losing streak to the Chiefs, believe it or not. I know you may think that's crazy, but the game would take on an entirely different flow if the Broncos get a score on that series and go from there. He's open, and he's open exactly for what you need there. He's runs the route. He's curling back. He's beyond the sticks. It's 4th and 3. It's a very makeable play.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward in that scenario, I thought it was a good call. And then you see Jeudy run that route. Okay, yeah, he's open. Get him the ball. Russell Wilson didn't get him the ball.
Right. So there's a breakdown.
So you know what? And that's the other thing is, in certain aspects, he's got a point. Now, again, he phrased it inelegantly, but he's got a point. So, usually when we're talking about a situation like this is where the answer ends up in the gray area, right? It's not absolute one side is right, the other side is wrong.
Right.
It's somewhere in the middle.
As always, Jerry Jeudy talked about what's it feel like being on the trade block. Here's what he had to say.
It don't affect me at all, because at the end of the day, I'm still going to be the player that I am. I know what I could do, and I know what I'm capable of. So trade me or not trade me, it don't matter, because at the end of the day, I'm going to still be me.
Okay. Indianapolis, your move.
Well, now the rumblings are the Colts aren't as interested. And the Colts are in a different spot right now.
Anthony Richardson's done for the year. That Indy connection was always interesting.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing, though, on the Colts is that Gardner Minshew stepping in for Anthony Richardson has played pretty well. Even though long-term they want to develop Anthony Richardson, I don't know their chances of sneaking into a postseason berth this year are any less now that they go to Gardner Minshew.
Right.
But it's a team that appears to be going in a different direction. And honestly, if you're an opposing GM and you're looking, okay, I need a receiver, and you see something like that statement that Jeudy made, and then kind of the go watch the film, eye in the sky don't lie, all that, is that somebody that you want? And there are going to be some general managers who probably say, no, I'm going to pass on that, even though we know the talent is there. And like I said, I can point to that play and others and show you, yeah, the dude's getting open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He's not wrong, but again, probably a more graceful way that he could have phrased that.
Yeah.
But we all shoot. How many times have you and I messed up a turn of phrase?
I mess up on every show. I make a point of it. But here's the thing with Jeudy, and you know this because the egos on the field are one thing. The egos in the front offices are larger. So what's some front office thinking right now? I can change him. Yeah, that's Denver. They're a mess. I can change him. I can get the best out of Jerry Jeudy. That's what happened.
That can be dangerous, right?
It's very dangerous.
Now, again, he's still young. And so it's funny that part of this, kerfuffle involves Steve Smith. Steve Smith is a young player. I mean, the dude punched Anthony Bright in a meeting. Okay. Even 8 seasons into his career, an incident I witnessed firsthand, he punched Ken Lucas in a practice, right? So, but he got it channeled. I mean, I think Jerry Jeudy's really competitive, and I think the losing is taking a toll on him. But I do think he's got to get things channeled in a way. And it's kind of sad that things went askew between him and Steve Sims, because I think Steve could teach him a couple of lessons.
Right. Yeah. For sure. And how to channel that anger and that energy. And again, I wish it was different. I wish things had turned out differently for Jerry Jeudy, but maybe it's a feature game for him and they trade him before the trade deadline, now 11 days from today.
Yeah, I think so. That's where it's going. But the thing is, if you're a team that's looking at wide receivers, would you rather have Courtland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy? That's an interesting thing to consider here. Is it possible only one gets traded? And we're all talking about Jerry Jeudy, but maybe it ends up being Courtland Sutton.
Right.
After all this.
If you're Philadelphia, would you rather have Julio Jones, who's 100 years old, or Courtland Sutton? I mean, I know my answer.
Well, Julio Jones cost him nothing, though. Cost you nothing in terms of draft capital.
Sutton's going to cost you a little something.
5th round pick, probably.
Yeah.
What does Jerry Jeudy get after all this now? If he trade
5th round pick.
Man.
4th round. Would they release him? I'm crazy. I would cut him, but
I don't think he can do that.
You don't think so?
You can get something. The talent is there.
Wait till the offseason.
He's got, you know, the cost for him next year because he's on the 5th-year option, so that's locked in. You can kind of plan that. This year, the contract is more than affordable. Yeah. So I still think he gets something from there. The comment, by the way, from Gage about hindering the development of young players by throwing them into the fire. Okay, it was follow-up to him talking about Riley Moss. I didn't want to ask it specifically, more kind of a generality, but it's interesting. And basically Sean circled around to the point that you play the player when he helps the team. The other guy I think that's interesting to talk about in regards to that, well, there are 2 other players. One is Drew Sanders, who he specifically spoke of getting him out there. The other is someone that we have not seen yet. In spite of injuries at safety, you still have not seen J.L. Skinner.
It's a mystery. You're afraid to lose him if you put him on the practice squad.
They had 2 safeties active for the Miami game. So if one safety got hurt, they didn't have a pure safety in reserve, right? And they still didn't activate JL.
Yeah. Make some moves.
He's a nice guy. I may have to go check on him next week, see how he's holding up.
Traquan Smith might be activated as well. RJ mentions how the Chiefs got McCole Hardman back. We've seen Van Jefferson traded. It feels like I'm missing one receiver trade, but like Terrace Marshall's on the block. Yeah. So in the next 11 days, and perhaps after they feature Jerry Jeudy, they'll do that. Now I'm writing my game.
By the way, real quick though, that George Payton special of a trade is popular. Talking about you send a player and a 7th round pick back for a 6th round pick. Peyton's made that deal a couple of times. Like that was the Malik Reed deal, right? Mm-hmm. It was also the Adam Troutman deal in the draft. The McCole Hardman trade was that. The Randy Gregory trade was that. Mm-hmm. But that's getting more popular around the NFL. So you have an equal exchange in terms of the numbers of draft picks. Effectively, this player that is not wanted by one team is wanted by another. Is worth the difference between a 6th and 7th round pick, which really isn't all that much in the draft pick calculus.
Right.
But it's an interesting deal, especially the Randy Gregory trade. You might be talking about a late 6th for a high 7th. Randy Gregory, that trade might be literally to move up 8 picks on the 3rd day of the draft. That's all Randy Gregory was worth in that calculus.
That's an interesting value chart, to be sure. Orange and Blue today, presented by Sean Ponda. I just wrote my game plan for denversports.com. It'll be out tonight. This game will come down to who runs the ball better and which quarterback takes care of the ball. The Green Bay Packers, now the Broncos have the worst defense, but the Green Bay Packers have the 5th worst defense against the run, allowing an average 143.4 yards per game.
So what you're saying is run the ball.
And we talked to Mike McGlinchey.
Javonte Williams run the ball.
Yeah, and we talked to Mike McGlinchey earlier this week, and I asked him specifically, like, how do you run more? We know they can run, Mace, but how do they run more? And his answer was something I expected.
Yeah, you got to stick with it. You got to be persistent. You got to be patient.
Mm-hmm. And you got to continue those drives. I'm afraid if they were to make those 3rd down conversions, and Green Bay is 7th best in stopping you on 3rd down. So, like, okay, you're going to have sustained drives. I'm afraid that they might just try to pass more if they have sustained drives. Which is funny because Sean Payton's not running his offense, really.
But you're also trying to get the ball to Jerry Jeudy to showcase him.
Exactly.
Oh, boy.
So you want to run because that's how you win. But and I guess that gets to the losing benefits. Like, You want to win.
Are you starting to believe some of the conspiracy theories, by the way?
It's the only thing that makes sense. And I've said it on air. It's 3 things that are happening. Either Sean Payton forgot how to coach. I don't believe that. What is my third thing? There's not enough Sean Payton guys. That's what I believe it is. Or they're tanking. There's 3 things that are going on. So you can pick one of the 3. Sean Payton forgot how to coach. They're tanking, or they don't have enough Sean Payton guys. I think it's the latter, but the conversation can be had.
Wasn't there also a line from a Sherlock Holmes novel in which Holmes said something to the effect of, if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth? Okay.
It's a good way to put it.
I think it's pretty impossible that Sean Payton forgot how to coach. And part of the reason I say that is I watched him in practice.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched
a lot of teaching this week.
I watched the way he's teaching him.
A lot of teaching this week.
More so than previous. There's teaching going on every week, but really, like, the individual periods of practice, they were going at a stately pace because he was trying to make some instructional points.
Yes. And we'd see more plays. Let's say in week 3 on a Friday, especially Fridays, we'd see a lot of plays. We'd see a lot of what they're going to do. But then this week, it seemed to be, you said stately, I'll say it's a little bit slower tempo because there were more teachable.
I know, yeah, that's what I meant.
I don't want to say slow because people are like, they were going slow. No.
Stately has I don't know, that's got a little bit more elegance to
Regal.
it. Yes.
Yes. A stately pace.
A serene, or as I think to quote Niles Crane from Frasier way back, a serene, almost Buddhist pace.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I'll take that. Mm-hmm. That's right. So.
Taking your time.
Yeah. You know what this team needs? Ganesh.
A win?
Yeah, a win.
Oh, Ganesh.
Ganesh.
Boy, we're going all.
Hey, you said Buddhist.
Shall we just like touch on all the major relations here?
Let's do it. The remover of obstacles. That's what they need. They have an obstacle, and I'm not exactly sure what it is. On the flip side, they need to deal with the young quarterback who's coming off a 3-interception game. But again, the Broncos, this is a get-right game. Mm-hmm. For Jordan Love, who Alex Singleton has a little bit of insight on Jordan Love. Let's hear from the Broncos linebacker.
I trained with him, so I've seen him for the last 4 years. But yeah, it makes it tougher. But now, like I said, it's week, whatever it is, 6 or 7 now, 7. He's got 6 weeks of tape. That's enough to kind of know what they're going to do in the game, and it's still the same offense. They're going to try to do what they've always done, and so for us, it's obviously stopping 33 if he plays, 28, and yeah. Force him to beat us.
What have you learned about Jordan?
He's a good dude. Sat behind one of the best of all time. So, yeah, he's a gamer. He's going to be ready to play. And so, to, make him play quarterback and see what he can do.
To think that the Packers don't have offensive weapons is to not understand what they do have. Mm-hmm. They just have a young quarterback. Because I love Romeo Doubs. Christian Watson going to take the top off. Luke Musgrave we love. Like, they got some guys. We're not even talking about the running backs yet.
But they're all young.
Yes.
So
inexperienced.
Okay. I have a theory on a young QB and a young center that you don't really want to put the two of them together.
Okay.
Because, and we saw this with Drew Lock and Lloyd Cushenberry back in 2020. Lock was in his second year, but he only had 5 starts the previous year, and Cush was a rookie. And there was nobody to it was tough because both of them were learning on the fly, and there wasn't one of them who could kind of guide the other. Like, I loved it when Peyton Manning had Matt Paradis. Mm-hmm. And that really helped Paradis back in 2015, the Super Bowl season, helped him along as a rookie.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if some of that dynamic exists as well with young receivers who are learning their way, which is why if things do get out of control around here, and we're talking about a new quarterback, a young QB in 2024, I'm okay with a bunch of mid to late career, lower cost, bargain bin veteran receivers, right? Because these are dudes that kind of know what they're doing while the younger players do that. Now, Marvin Mims and Brandon Johnson may have advanced to the point where they can kind of be in that role as well.
Right.
But yeah, it's when you're asking everybody to grow together, it can be bumpy. And that's what we're seeing in Green Bay as well. But you got to talk about the running game, because the best friend of a young quarterback is a good running back.
They got a good one.
And a good one who looks like he's going to be back in the lineup this week, and that's Aaron Jones.
Yeah, Aaron Jones, who Nick Bonito talked about in the locker room this week.
Yeah, I mean, just got to know where he is. He's always a threat. Whether it's first, second down, we got to key in on him and know, where he is, so we can be able to, have a plan for him and, hold him in check. So.
Looks like Aaron Jones is going to play. He had a hamstring injury in week 1, didn't play until week 4, re-aggravated, missed week 5. They had a bye in week 6. Now he's back this week, and A.J. Dillon's just a plotter. Even Ron Dane thinks that A.J. Dillon should pick it up.
No slander about Ron Dane on this podcast.
Not
podcast, this show.
Ron Dane, I hit a nerve. Wisconsin.
Well, not only that, but Broncos. Thanksgiving Day 2005, that run in overtime.
It was a great day.
Yes, he was a great Dane.
If there's Broncos backs from the past that we forget about, I'll bring him up just because he's my friend. I still loved when Lendale White was here. He didn't do anything. It was like one of those.
He never even played in the regular season.
I don't believe so.
He was only 2010 preseason. He didn't even go beyond that preseason finale in Minnesota, if I recall correctly.
I believe that's correct, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Lendale White. Local kid. Chatfield, right?
Chatfield Chargers, baby.
Oh, you got the nickname in.
Of course. My kids go to Sheffield, so.
Okay.
And who's really good? I was telling Philip this the other day. I was like, who's really good on air? Lendale White. Lendale White is really good on air. And smells like the sweetest Chiba. Anyway.
Whoa. What?
All the time. Every day.
Oh, my
all the time. But it's good. It's good. It's Colorado, baby. We got to talk about Baron Browning?
Yes. He's back. Baron Browning is back. In all likelihood, the roster move that you're expecting to be made this weekend would be Greg Dulcich, 2 injured reserve, Baron Browning, off the PUP list onto the 53-player roster. And signs that he's going to play, he talked in the locker room today. So, question I asked him was about his injury. Of course, a meniscus injury that he's been dealing with over the last few months. He began practicing, of course, earlier this month. And as he said, it actually goes back to last year. Roll it.
Just a meniscus tear. It was kind of a situation where I heard it early on last season, and I kind of didn't know because it didn't bother me all season. It kind of just showed up in off season, and I'm kind of glad it showed up the way it did so I could get it fixed versus kind of it happening in season and then being out for the whole season. So I think everything kind of just happened for a reason.
How much did the 3 weeks ramp up help to get you up to speed where you can go full tilt Sunday?
I missed all training camp, so I just need reps, just to get back in the groove of things. Just the small things that come with repetition as far as my eyes, what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling, and my rush process, just everything.
Exciting times. If you got Baron Browning coming back, with Nick Bonito emerging, of course, the way he's done, Jonathan Cooper making plays,
play the kids. You're going to play the kids. None of those guys is more than a third-year veteran.
That's not a bad thing. I mean, with the way the season is going, play the kids, have some young talent. Baron Browning's one of those guys that you can continue to build around if he stays healthy. Yeah,
and with the way Cooper and Bonito are playing, you can ease him back in. We're talking about, probably, I'm guessing anywhere between 15, 25 snaps, rotate him in, show that explosiveness, and look, and then continue to see where he goes. Now, it is possible in terms of, who's the first teamer, that maybe Jonathan Cooper has Wally pipped him a little bit. Really old baseball reference there.
That I even understand.
Wow.
I know.
Impressive.
I don't know who Wally Pipp replaced, but I know Wally pipped somebody.
Well, you know who came in for Wally Pipp, right?
Was it Roger Maris?
No. Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig started his consecutive game streak that wasn't broken until he had to take himself out of the lineup tragically for ALS, which for a long time was colloquially called Lou Gehrig's disease. And Wally Pipp was out of the lineup for a day. Lou Gehrig went in at first base and then didn't relinquish
Never got his job back
for many, many years. And then, of course, that record stood until Cal Ripken Jr. broke it. There you go. There's your baseball thing for the day.
Okay. Orioles, right?
For Cal Ripken Jr.?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm just checking, right? I don't want to disrespect. I just want to double check. That was Orioles, right? Am I remembering? Yes. I collected baseball cards when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then they went on strike.
Is that when they lost you?
I think it was just the 90s, man, when football really emerged. And the 94 draft, the side note, the Mel Kiper, like who the hell's Mel Kiper anyway?
I still want to know who Bill Tobin's mailman was.
Yeah, I know.
Because like Mel Kiper, what was it they said that Mel Kiper doesn't know any more than my neighbor about the draft, and my neighbor's a mailman?
My neighbor's a mailman.
Yeah.
This guy says, tell you who to draft, who not to draft. And I met Bill Tobin one time in the Tampa airport coming back from the Shrine game. And I was with my buddy Russ Landy, and he knows Bill a long time ago. And it was just like surreal moment because that 94 draft is really when, and I love basketball, love Michael Jordan, all that.
But that was the year Jordan was retired
and playing baseball.
For the White Sox system.
It was basketball, late 80s, early 90s. And then the 94 draft, like that kind of rock star moment propelled me as a young shaver in Colorado to be like, I really like this draft thing.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
Origin point. Interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone has a real good origin story, right?
Yes.
It's always worth telling. I always believe everybody's got a story, but origin stories are deeply fascinating to me.
Okay.
In a lot of ways.
Brad D says Philly in 6 over Houston. I was told by baseball guys, if I want to talk baseball, all I got to say is like, man, the Phillies are hot unless Houston gets in their way. Hey, somebody told me that. They said, hey, if you want to talk baseball, just say the Phillies. It looks like the Phillies' year unless the Astros have something to say.
Don't the Phillies have to get through the Diamondbacks first?
You tell me with the Diamondbacks Cup over there.
I got that a couple months ago in Arizona. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look, I'm an Atlanta fan. I don't like the Phillies right now. So it's a little bit of the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Right. I got it. I got you.
But, and also know some people who are Diamondbacks fans and really want to see them be happy.
Mace, I just want you to be happy.
I am happy. Do I seem happy today?
You are in a very good mood today. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. It's Friday. It's a feel good Friday. It's a perfect autumn day here in Colorado.
Beautiful.
Oh my gosh, like the foliage is popping just on my little drive down through the Denver Tech Center here. Just an explosion of gold and red and orange. Oh my goodness. Like if this is the weekend, if you're going to get out along the Front Range, this is the peak weekend, I think, here in the Denver area and down toward Colorado Springs to just check out the foliage. It's pretty incredible right now.
Yeah. I drive through Water Canyon every day to go home, and it's
beautiful.
Wonderful.
How can that not put you in a good mood? That's the thing.
I know.
Yeah.
Friday. Well, the Broncos, but the answers you're seeking will be here soon enough, Mace.
Yeah.
As frustrating as this year has been, the answers that you're seeking, we're going to see a trade of Jerry Jeudy pretty soon in the next less than 2 weeks. So,
or maybe a receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would be the most shocking thing for me would be as if there's not a trade between now and the deadline.
That would be shocking.
Yeah.
Because then it'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah. It means that maybe you couldn't get the value that you wanted, but sometimes you accept the value that you just can get, right?
Wasn't that a Rolling Stone song?
Well, it was...
can't always get what you want.
Can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. That's, that's a good Stone song.
Okay. We should wrap it up on that, right?
That's a good place to end. That, the last 7 years in Broncos country, you haven't always gotten what you wanted.
But if you try sometimes,
you just might find you get what you need. What does this team really need?
Quarterback.
And that means not a... But they can't do that. Here's the thing. And I know everyone is like, oh, just tank, dive, lose, whatever. It doesn't work that way.
Players won't do that.
Players are going to give their all, okay? And also, you want to see these players get better. This is part of why maybe what Sean Payton said last year about a draft lottery system, it's probably a better way of going about it, even though, it's more randomness to it. But I mean, It works in the NHL. It works in the NBA. Baseball is going to a draft lottery. We could be talking about the Rockies, who only had the 3rd worst record in Major League Baseball, having the number 1 overall pick because there's a lottery, right? So, but it doesn't work that way.
No,
but
not in the NFL. Not
nobody nobody tanks, right? Now, what a team can do is say, okay, we're going to make a bunch of trades, and so we're playing the players that we have. But here's the thing: those young players with those reps get better. I mean, if the Broncos went full on and made like 4 or 5 trades between now and the deadline and really went young, starting with the game in Buffalo next month, if they did that, here's the thing: some of those young players would figure things out.
And that's why.
And you'd look at, and you might see them go to Detroit in December and pull off a gargantuan upset.
Right.
That's what happens.
You call it Bob Ross, happy little accidents, happy little trees. Like, and I'm okay with that. Listen, everyone wants to tank and Caleb Williams and whatever. That's a conversation. I'm listening. Unfortunately, it's October 20th and we got to talk about that. But if you play the young guys and the young guys are playing their ass off, sorry, Matthew. If they're playing their hearts out and you win, good, because you're developing your young players. The worst thing for this team to do is not trade anybody, play the old heads. Hey, Cortland Sutton had a great year. Yeah, he's not going to be here next year. Jerry Jeudy had a great year. Yeah, whatever, he's not going to be here. You know, Russell Wilson.
Jeudy might be if he figures it out. He's still on his rookie contract and the 5th-year option.
I don't know if you want him in the locker room. That's a different conversation.
That's a fair argument.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. So that's a wrap.
Wow.
We done? We good?
Are you good?
I'm good, baby. Light and sweet.
I'm great. I'm having a great day.
Matthew, you all right?
Matthew, great? Yeah. We're all smiles around here. I love it.
The Broncos are terrible. Okay.
No, but okay. We can't mope about it, right? It's like, it came up yesterday when I was on one last thing before we go. It came up yesterday when I was on the drive with Stoke, with Zach and Philip Lindsay. Sorry, I put Stoke in there. My bad. People expect, and you and I have mentioned that the locker room seems in very good spirits and as a whole this week.
Yes.
And it was brought to me like, okay, like, you know, is that okay? Is that what you want? Look, you're not going to get out of this by being freaking miserable. And ultimately you have guys that are playing this game, and the game is supposed to be fun. It's still a game, right? It's a job. It's important. The results matter to those that are involved with playing and coaching and all that, but it's still a game. And also it's still a job that you want to do to the best of your ability, and doing it to the best of your ability, I think, does not mean going in and crowing to the fetal position and sobbing and being miserable. It means having some positivity about it. Right. So I don't get why people don't understand that. Okay. Yeah. You're 1-5, the team stinks, but I don't want everybody moping over there. I want, people just normally going about life, still laughing about things, still enjoying going to work and doing the job every day. Because if you do that, then you got a better chance of getting the on-field results right.
How you think is how you feel, and it's how you act. Thoughts, emotions, and actions. So be positive. Go forth. Have a great weekend.
I think we're a pretty positive show usually. When we get things off our chests.
We just try to seek the truth and speak the truth. And it's rough right now.
Not bad.
It's rough right now.
But the truth is not all terrible.
Well, and I don't. The
1-5 record is terrible,
right?
But the truth is not all.
I can get real crunchy real quick, but I'll keep it somewhat brief, Mace, because this is important, and you can definitely understand this. Mm-hmm. It's not always meant to make you feel good. Okay, we go through this life, and everyone's like, "I gotta feel good." Like, the truth hurts sometimes. We love the Broncos, even though we're not Broncos fans, but we love the Broncos. We just got to tell you the truth. And the truth isn't meant to be like, it's okay, guys. Everything's good, guys.
You can't mope 24/7.
Right.
You can still laugh about stuff. You can still have a fun moment in practice. That's kind of what I'm saying there.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens on Sunday. I'll give you one more warning before we go, though. This is negative. It's a warning. If you're headed out to the stadium, you're going to see a lot of green and gold. I think we're going to see maybe more fans for the other team than we've seen at Empower Field at Mile High for any game.
Maybe since Steelers AFC Championship game?
You know what? Everyone talks about that. I think people noticed it because
the towels,
but there have been more people for like every other Steelers game I've covered at that stadium. It was just like people expected no Steeler fans, and there were some Steeler fans. But there were more Steeler fans when they came in 2009. There were more Steeler fans when they played that playoff game, the Tebow playoff game in January 2012. More Steeler fans when they came in. I believe that was the opening game of 2012. More Steeler fans when they came in November of 2018. Okay, so I want to just kind of myth bust that one. There were Steeler fans there, but it was not a huge number like we've seen in some of the others. But Green Bay only comes once every 8 years. There's a significant Packer fan population around the country and here in Colorado. And as I often say, Wisconsin seems to be a great place to be from, but a lot of people leave it. And they go live in places like Colorado and North Carolina and Arizona. Okay.
Say Virginia.
Virginia. God, what? I should
You walked right into that.
I should not have played along with that. Okay?
What? Why? I love when you say Virginia.
Oh God.
Because I can't say it like you say it.
Well, the accent comes out sometimes. I can't. You know, I left the Mid-Atlantic, but the Mid-Atlantic didn't leave me.
That's right. He's Mace. I'm Cease. There's Matthew. Appreciate you all. Stay tuned. And would you please stay frosty,